In the span of a week, we stayed at properties ranging from $100 a night all the way up to over $1,000 a night. And we were quite surprised which one we enjoyed the most. We're gonna start out with the cheapest place we stayed, Bali Breakers, which is in the middle of Uluwatu on the island. And our private pool villa there cost just over $100 a night.
This is the only hotel we didn't make a separate video for because it doesn't quite fit into the luxury category, but we just wanted to include it here to show what you can actually get for around $100 in Bali.
This is honestly really nice for the price. And even in general, I think they could charge quite a bit more for this. A big sink with lots of space to put your toiletries. We have a toilet with a built-in bidet, a rainfall shower. Our private pool at this price, you don't get the most inspiring views, but you do see loads of nature. We actually stayed at this hotel in the middle of all the other price classes, so I was quite worried going from a very luxurious hotel going here. We were very positively surprised overall, I'd say, by the comfort of the bed. The service and the housekeeping was so good, on par with the more luxurious hotels.
It definitely has everything you need. And when you're paying less, you expect less. Perhaps what feels maybe a bit less nice, I would say, is like the bathroom. It's a bit more of that like outdoors, indoors kind of vibe, so it doesn't really feel as comforting as many of the other bathrooms.
The hotel only has a small outdoor gym, which in Bali is maybe not the best idea.
Could be vibey, but most of the time it'll be sweaty.
Yeah, there are also 2 pools at the hotel, which is nice, but it's not a very resort-like feel. You feel like there's a pool there for more practical reasons. The location is one of the main things that is a drawback, because unlike every other hotel we stayed at, you are not situated by the ocean. So you're sort of inland, far away from many interesting sights and views. Oceanfront real estate is expensive real estate.
Overall, it's just not a luxury hotel, but it's just interesting to see what you get at this category before we enter the real stuff.
At $200 a night, we have the Sofitel Nusa Dua. I'd frankly say we enjoyed the $100 a night hotel more, just because we had such different expectations.
Yeah, that's true.
Although this hotel is quite cheap for a Sofitel, it does not feel luxurious at all. It feels like a mass market resort. And the main thing here that sets it apart, I would say, is the pools, which were stunning, and the number of activities in a hotel so big. They had all types of fitness activities, they had massages on the beach. But in general, we liked our room less at the Sofitel than at Bali Breakers. The bathroom, I'd say, was about on par, maybe a little bit better. And even the outdoor pool area, the pool at the Sofitel was actually dirtier and less nice than the pool at Bali Breakers.
We mentioned in the video there were literally like sediments and stuff floating around in the pool as we looked closer, and we were just like, yeah, we're getting out of here right now.
I think what you're paying for at a hotel like this is the access to everything that you get with such a big property. When there's more guests, you have a much bigger breakfast, you have a much bigger selection of things to do.
And the breakfast was incredible, a 10 out of 10.
It also seems like a very family-friendly resort, so if you travel with kids, there's a lot more to do at a big hotel like this. Bigger hotels often have worse service than small hotels. It doesn't really matter about the price, because most Balinese are so friendly and hospitable that you can be staying at a $50 a night Airbnb like we used to and have the most incredible hospitality. Or at a very expensive hotel and have service that's a complete mess.
Correct.
So really, at the Sofitel, we found the service to be just a mess in almost every way, and meanwhile everything felt so smooth and taken care of at the cheaper option.
Moving up one tier to the $400 category, we reach what was perhaps our favorite of them all.
And this is what's interesting, because this is the middle price category. And I think that's just where we land budget-wise most of the time anyway. We're like in between budget and the most expensive hotels. We like a very comfortable, luxurious hotel like the Apurva Kempinski.
We also really love a hotel, I think, that puts on a show. Like, this was really the most X Factor-esque hotel we've ever been to, in that it was so unique, it was so cool how they designed everything, the architecture was stunning. It really felt like an experience being there.
Again, I think it felt like the hotel was a good size. It wasn't too big like the Atlantis, the Royal, for example, but it also wasn't so small that there wasn't a lot of fun stuff to do. There were so many good restaurants at this hotel. Breakfast was stunning and massive. The pool was one of our favorite pools we've ever had.
Incredible.
With this massive infinity pool that has all types of nooks in the shade for you to lie down in. There was service at the pool, and the service in general was just top notch. They had so many employees everywhere. It was unfathomable.
I think another thing that made us appreciate this over the higher priced hotels is that you're still getting a buffet at breakfast, and the buffet, just like at the Sofitel actually, was incredible. Like some of the best breakfast buffets we've ever had. Once you start getting into the higher categories and the sort of smaller sized hotels, it's much more a la carte based, which can be great, but it's not as impressive.
Well, I just watched a video about how Gen Z is more into low-key luxury. You don't want this, oh, eggs with caviar off the a la carte menu. To us, we want to be able to do a bit more self-service because that's what we grew up with. But have a bigger selection and not feel like, oh, I'm burdening someone by ordering too much.
And two more things to add to that. First of all, we're Swedish, so I just think culturally we'd be happier not bothering someone and being able to like serve ourselves. Secondly, when you have a special diet, it's always better to have so many options at a buffet because we can just get more vegan stuff as opposed to when it's limited to a menu. You can't really do that.
The thing we find interesting is that all the hotels in every price class were having weddings. We specifically complained about it at the Apurva Kempinski because there was one when we stayed there, but we know that every single hotel on this list frequently has weddings during high season.
And it can get loud.
It's so out of tune. So the point is you can't really escape that at any price class. Now for Alila Villas, and this is about $800 a night, so we're doubling from the Apurva.
And it was one of the most like requested hotels. Everyone was like, I cannot wait to see the Alila. I can't wait to see you guys review it. And it seems to be like a lot of people's favorite hotel on Bali.
We definitely feel like for that money, you get something that is truly memorable and truly spectacular. Such a wow factor to this hotel.
For sure.
There was at the Apurva Kempinski too, but the Alila feels like a more intimate experience. It was just the two of us in our backyard pool in our enormous villa, just going like, wow, wow, wow.
It's just a serene experience. I'd say like you get so much dopamine from staying at the Apurva Kempinski, whereas here it was really like, I don't know what and some of the other neurochemicals would be. I don't know, I guess you get more serotonin or something, or you just get more relaxed, right?
That's the biggest difference. I'd say the feeling of exclusivity and calm. At these most expensive hotels in Bali, they tend to have very few villas or rooms. Here, every room gets so much, or every villa gets so much space allocated to it. You just feel most of the time like there's only a few other people staying there. However, your expectations are also so much higher at this price point, which makes it easier, I feel, to get frustrated with things. At the Bali Breakers, nothing could frustrate us because we were like, this is a great deal. Whereas here, we felt like, oh wow, the service is a bit inconsistent. There's no seats at the pool. That's kind of crazy at a hotel in this price point. They didn't tell us anything about the hotel facilities when there was like an epic view just a little walk away. That's why I always say that we prefer to stay somewhere in the middle. Because you have enough expectations, but not too high expectations. Now, what do you get at the most expensive option that we stayed at, over $1,000 a night at the Raffles Bali?
One of the most expensive luxury hotels in all of Bali.
What you get, we mainly found, is a more personalized service experience.
One of the best, possibly the best service experience we've ever had at a hotel. And if you are someone that really values impeccable personalized service, that's where you go, but you also have to pay a lot for it.
To give a few examples, just to let you know, and this didn't happen at any of the other hotels, when we were having dinner, we, requested a cold towel. We requested infused water. Then at breakfast, with new staff that we hadn't seen before. They immediately addressed us by name. They brought us our preferred type of cold towel. They brought us infused water without us having to ask. Every time we'd go to the toilet or something during a meal, they'd be there to fold our napkin, you know, put our seat back in.
Yeah.
We had an appointment for the steam room without even having to call. There was a buggy waiting outside our villa 5 minutes before we were supposed to be there.
Same for our dinner reservation.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was so seamless and it was so anticipatory. They saw our needs. They first saw our needs before we even saw them.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Which is truly amazing. It's just a shame that we felt that a lot of other things made this stay not quite worth the money.
Correct.
And it would have been amazing to get this type of service at least at the $800 a night hotel.
True. I think our main issue with this hotel was just that it felt a little bland for us. And I think, especially if you compare it to something like the Apurva Kempinski, which is so memorable, and even the Alila, which is also so imprinted in our minds, this just felt so colorless, I guess is the word. Like there was nothing really to hold on to make the experience unique.
I think this is why the Raffles Bali is not necessarily a very famous hotel from Bali, because it doesn't do anything that you can't get at any good hotel close to where you live. Here you're spending 10 times as much, at least, as the Cross Bali Breakers, our cheapest option. Do you get 10 times more? Of course not. The higher you go in price class, you get incremental improvements to the experience.
But you also get diminishing marginal returns, because how can you keep improving it times two, times two, times two?
Partly our lack of desire to return to the Raffles Bali comes down to us being Gen Z, at least on the border.
We're not really we're like cuspers, guys.
Yeah.
We're Gen fluid, okay? We choose when to be millennial and when to be Gen Z. Okay?
Yeah. Our generation is known for really seeking experiences and unique memories and stuff like that. The Apurva Kempinski especially delivered. The Alila Villas Uluwatu also delivered it in a different way. And the main thing that those two had that I think gets to what you get when you're paying a bit more is the location of having the most breathtaking locations on the cliff edges in Uluwatu. The Apurva Kempinski utilized that to make a Gardens of Babylon style hotel that descends down the hill and creates for the most breathtaking visual experience, while the Alila blends in more with the nature, but again utilizes it to really give you a wow experience. Whereas the Sofitel and the Cross Bali Breakers didn't have as spectacular locations and therefore weren't able to utilize them to get a sweeping view. Yeah.
Okay, we want to finish off by doing a bit of a contest here. So we're going to go through each of the categories, see who was the winner of each one of them. Because at the end of the day, what you find most valuable at a hotel or most important might differ from what we value the most or what someone else does.
And unfortunately, Cross Bali Breakers, the cheapest hotel, doesn't win any of the categories, but that doesn't mean that it was bad in most of these categories either.
You could say that it wins in value, maybe. It's not fully a luxury hotel, so we don't really include it here. So for room/villa, pretty obvious winner here, the Alila, hands down.
It had the most space and the most well thought out design.
It lives in our minds rent-free, let's just say that.
Our favorite bathroom was the Apurva Kempinski. It was the right balance between being spacious, luxurious, and modern, while also
having a really nice view and all of these things. It was functional, beautiful, just 10 out of 10. We loved it from the moment we stepped in until the moment we had to leave.
The Raffles Bali was our best sleep, mainly because it was the only property, well, especially because the Alila and the Apurva Kempinski had some noise during the night.
Yeah.
We still slept well. At the Raffles during the night, it was blissfully quiet. The bed was amazing.
The bed was incredible and the temperature in the room was just perfect, which is not always easy to get.
And there was a small detail I remember of the bedding being very lightly scented with some sort of essential oil.
That is the premium touch.
That just brought it up a little bit. We've been hinting at this the whole video. Where do we find the best value? Right in the middle. You get a nice balance of luxury and accessibility, which is why it goes to the Apurva Kempinski.
It was just the perfect balance, what can we say? Kind of an unexpected winner for breakfast, but we give that to the Sofitel because that was just such a good breakfast. The Apurva Kempinski was very, very close, but the Sofitel was slightly better actually, in our opinion.
It's probably the huge buffet that we like with so many different cuisines.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of fun. Although the breakfast environment, the experience of eating breakfast has to go to the Alila because sitting there on the cliffside with a very good breakfast as well was spectacular. Whereas sitting at the Sofitel having breakfast was a fight with mosquitoes and not especially vibey. Kids running around and playing and crying, and we're like, oh my god.
We're like, this is the future for us. If you've been following our baby journey on Austrian Den, you'll know.
Which hotel is in the best condition? The Raffles, which makes sense. They have the fewest guests. It's the newest. It is just immaculate.
Pristine, and like the gardens and the fact that they maintain those gardens in a tropical environment is just wild.
Now for service, no discussion, the Raffles Bali wins by far. The second would be the Apurva Kempinski, and then all the others would be quite a bit lower.
For overall dining, for sure the Apurva Kempinski. We loved every single meal we had there. There were so many options and so many different amazing restaurants in great locations, and we dream about everything we had there.
The tempeh skewers on the beach, tempeh and pumpkin skewers. Oh, that was
even
so
the
good.
hot pot restaurant we went to was so good. It was like going to Hai Di Lao or something. It was perfect.
Although I wish we could make our own sauce.
I mean, you could. It's just we weren't allowed to mix it, right?
Amenities, the Apurva Kempinski, we discussed that more in the individual videos. They had a whole booklet of all the fun amenities you can get, really cool. For wellness, none of these hotels are very good at wellness, to be honest.
Unfortunately, yeah.
The highest we gave was a 4, which is still, 5 is a very wide-ranging category in wellness, so we kind of want a 5 when we're staying at a hotel for a longer time. Here the highest is a 4, and we're giving the win to the Sofitel because there's a great running track right along Nusa Dua beach. They had a good enough gym. The cardio section was a bit weird.
In like a separate dark room.
They also had massages on the beach. They had loads of group workouts and activities, which is why we give it to the Sofitel, but none of them were really amazing in that way. The pool.
There were some really good pools at many of these hotels, but the number one we have to give to the Apurva Kempinski. It was our favorite pool design, possibly that we've ever been to.
Yeah, I'd say actually the worst pools were at the 2 most expensive hotels, the public pools.
Because there was just no way to get shade there or any sort of privacy. Not that there weren't that many people at the pools at those hotels, but still, it just felt like a bit less thoughtfully designed, I guess.
Yeah, at a bigger hotel, you're gonna have bigger pools, more places to sit, and the Apurva wins that. The same thing for the beach. Although none of these beaches were amazing, the view and the atmosphere on the Apurva Kempinski beach was phenomenal. It was so pristine and clean.
And we have to mention here that neither the Raffles nor the Alila had a swimmable beach. They only have like sightseeing beaches where there's like corals and rocks, so you can't swim there. So we didn't give them a beach score because that didn't feel fair. So instead we gave them a location score, but we just have to do an honorable mention to the Alila for how stunning it was to be on that cliff top.
Again, which hotel blew us away the most? The middle of the pack, price-wise, the Apurva Kempinski, and they are the winner for us. In terms of value, where should you stay? Always go for the middle. You won't be disappointed.
Not always, but in most cases.
Yeah, most of the time you want to go lagom, and that was our lesson here. So we hope you enjoyed this little comparison. If you want to book any luxury hotels in Bali or anywhere else around the world, you can do so through us. We're travel advisors, and we help you book with all types of amazing benefits like free breakfast, a free upgrade, early check-in and late checkout, a property credit, usually about $100, and it doesn't cost any more than booking directly through the hotel. You can submit a request right here at the QR code or down below. If you have an upcoming trip, we'd be so happy to help you. If you're used to booking hotels yourself, give us a try and you'll see how much better the experience can be. We will see you guys in the next video where we're going over to the Middle East for some cool hotels. And until then, as always, see you
Around the world.